Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Lock, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, joined as always by Trevor and Silas in the booth today instead of
Hello.
Connor. Connor's already halfway to Charleston. He's in Charlotte, and he's going to meet us down there because we're leaving right after we finish recording this show. But we're going to be talking a little bit of Idlewild, some crazy storylines that went down there, updating the power rankings, talk about our Charleston trip, a little Trevor's trivia, and then some more stuff from Twitter, but this time from Drew Gibson. You're not going to want to miss it. But first, quick word from our sponsors.
Quick word from our friends over at Double G Jerky. Double G Craft Jerky starts by hand-selecting the highest quality meats and placing an emphasis on the most savory seasonings and nutritionally focused ingredients. Double G produces the best tasting and highest quality jerky on the market. When you order their craft beef jerky online, you'll be amazed at the freshness, the quality, and the flavors you'll experience. With the disc golf season in full force and everyone hitting the trails and slopes this winter, you'll want to stock up on these so you always have them handy when you need a boost. Head over to doublegjerky.com and pick out one of their delicious flavors. That's doublegjerky.com. Connor and I on the Bogey Bro Banter, if you didn't see it, power ranked all the jerky flavors. They're delicious. You're definitely going to check it out.
One?
My favorite, well, the one that we kind of selected was the boom sauce.
Nice.
However, hot boom sauce. However,
boom sauce.
Teriyaki has a soft spot.
Silas, what's the best jerky flavor you tried?
Dude, let me tell you something.
They're all good.
First of all, they're all good, but I like the barbecue. I think it's called McBeast Barbecue.
Yeah,
that's very good. Very good.
All right, I can't have beef jerky because I'm allergic to red meat. But if I could, I'm sure I'd love it. All right, let's get into some Idlewild recap here. We'll first go over the results. On the FPO side, we had Katrina Allen taking it down with Missy Gannon and Owen Scoggins tying for second. And then on the MPO side, we have Isaac Robinson taking down his first ever Elite Series win. Chris Dickerson is back, came in second, and Kyle Klein came in third. But let's talk FPO first. This is Kat's first win of the year since the Open at Belton, and her second Pro Tour win this year. She won Las Vegas. So, in other words, it's been a while.
March.
Looking over her stats, none of them were shocking. There wasn't something where I was like, oh, that's why she won.
Yeah.
But none of them were bad. She just played a solid tournament.
Yeah, she basically just didn't implode because that's what everybody else did at one point or another. And it seemed like most of the players that did just like absolutely blow up, they just couldn't come back from it. Like Val was a good example.
Yeah.
Like she was hanging in there, and you can take like some bogeys. Certainly, you're going to take them all the time and bounce back out of it. But the second, she had a pretty bad stretch there where she took it was like the end of her second round. The weather started getting bad. She took like a triple or a quad, I think
Somewhere
it was
there.
at one point,
Somewhere up there,
and a bunch of bogeys end the round and just got washed out. And it's really hard to come back from that. That's what seemed to be happening across the board. Paige kind of had something similar happen where she was hanging in there and then eventually just blew up. And then Kat was just kind of like, she wasn't ever really in it, and then all of a sudden you're like going into day 3. Oh, wait a second, she's in the tied for the lead or whatever. Like it was crazy that she just kind of popped in there. It's so funny. Like we were so close to just writing her off. She just got jumped in the power rankings last week, and we were like, I think we were just all kind of ready to accept that, this is not, Kat's just not really having a good year, and then she wins again.
Well, I look back at it, and like if you look at her year and you compare
been
them,
fine.
It hasn't been bad. It's
she just hasn't won.
Exactly. And now she has 2 Pro Tour wins, 1 Silver Series win. That starts to sound like a better and better season.
Yeah, she started off so well that I think we had so quickly set in the narrative that like Kat is going to be the player to beat this year because she was more consistent than Paige.
Yeah.
Valerie hadn't really emerged yet. And we knew that Kristen wasn't going to be around all year. So we were like, okay, this is going to be Kat's year. And then she just went away.
Yeah, she's kind of disappeared. This was also, speaking of Paige, this was her second off week in a row. And like off, like she was on the course, but like she just was off.
Oh, did you see this stat? I believe Paige ended up finishing, correct me if I'm wrong, outside the top 5.
Yes, outside top 5.
If at one point it was her and Kat were outside the top 5. And the stat they had thrown up was it would be the first time, I think it was the first time ever that Kat and Paige finished both outside the top 5 at an Elite Series or major event.
I'd believe it.
They threw that over a B-roll sequence, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. And then, like, sure enough, Kat won.
Yeah. It's very interesting little dip for Paige because, again, similar to Kat, Paige hasn't been having as good of a year as you would.
Oh, no. I misdid that stat.
Yeah,
Let me correct myself. It wasn't Paige and Kat. It was Paige Pierce back-to-back weeks outside the top 5, I believe is what it was.
Oh, so this is it then. It happened.
It happened. Because last week she She finished outside the top 5, correct?
Last week I think she came in 21st.
Yes. So
and this week
that was a
like
stat.
ninth.
I knew that didn't sound right. It was. I'm pretty positive this is what it was. It was first time ever that she's finished outside the top 5 at Elite Series or major events back to back. Didn't involve Kat. It was just Paige. So that's crazy.
That is wild. The next event for her is another major. The European Open is the next event she's playing. That's in 2 weeks, which is crazy. We're almost at the third major of the year.
Who won the last?
No, well, okay. Yeah, the second total major, third overall major because USW DGC.
Right.
But basically, what could end up happening is Paige is hitting a little bit of a slump, or we'll just call it a bump right now, a bump in the road.
Yeah, bumper slump that's gonna be a new segment.
Yeah, we'll call it a bump now. If she does bad at European Open, we'll call it a slump. But she's hitting a bump at a pretty bad time because the bump started at her second major of the year. She won the first one, Champions Cup. That's going to help her. Then she lost the second major, USW DGC. Didn't play great at Idlewild, but at the end of the season, a few wins can cover a multitude of losses. So if she can win a European Open, win a Worlds, we're going to completely forget about Idlewild.
Yeah.
But if that bump turns into a slump and she does bad at the European Open, that's it's going to be an interesting season for Paige Pierce. Yeah,
the European Open is interesting because we have precedent of that event, obviously in the past because it took place many times before. But the field and everybody's game has changed so much. So
it's going to be basically like a brand new major.
It's going to feel somewhat like I think after.
Has Paul ever played it with Discraft?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. So
Ricky's in the time since the European Open left Trilogy and now he's back to Trilogy.
Yeah. I think what's honestly gonna wait, when was the last European Open? We got a fact check that.
I feel like it didn't happen in 2019.
That's what I'm saying. If it was 2018, did Paul play one European Open with Discraft?
I don't think so. No, because 2018 he wouldn't have been with Discraft yet.
Yeah.
2019 started.
Okay, it was 2019. You're right. Okay. Yeah, because the thing is, everybody
Paul won it in 2019.
Okay, so
Eagle came in second. Ricky did play with it. You know what? At basically the last 30, 40 seconds, just ignore everything we just said. That was 3 years ago in our defense.
It feels like an eternity.
I feel like I haven't watched the European Open ever before. Yeah, I went Paul, Eagle, Albert, Tam, and Ricky.
Okay.
Tied for third.
Okay. So that's pretty recent. But I think it's funny because everybody's just assuming who won the FPO. That's what I'm really curious about.
FPO, Paige Pierce won by 17.
Oh my gosh.
Over Henna Blomroos and Katrina Allen came in third.
Everybody going into the European Open is going to assume that Paige and Paul are going to dominate, especially Paul with his history there. But clearly Paige obviously can dominate there as well. But I think after one round, that whole I don't trust Paul for a second. After what he just, that.
We'll talk about Paul in a second.
But
before we jump too many topics, I do want to talk really quickly about Ella Hansen because it seems like this is a similar story we've seen in the past with Ella.
Comes out the gate hot.
Where she comes out, she gets herself in contention. This one, she actually was able to hold on to the lead. She blew up round 2 at the beginning, was able to come back and stay in the lead going into round 3, and then falls off the face of the earth. She just, essentially to me, I think that she has all the talent. She just needs more time in the spotlight to develop that consistent winner mentality, whatever you want to call it.
I can't tell if she goes down to the nerves or if her game's just not polished enough
just
in
not
general.
Consistent enough?
Yeah, I'm not, because she's a talented thrower for sure. The putt is not insane or anything. But I think what it really comes down to is it's just she's not quite polished enough, but I think she's going to get there. I really do. She's very consistent. What she is doing consistently is getting herself in the mix.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She reminds me of Eagle a few years ago.
Yeah, she's just not quite closing.
You would have Eagle pop onto the scene. He'd put his name into the mix, into contention, and then he couldn't close it.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a year or two, Eagle started closing, and what did he do? He won 5 Pro Tours.
Yeah.
So it's reminiscent to me of that type of player.
I still think Ella probably gets at least a Silver Series this year.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. So let's talk some Mpo storylines. First and foremost, biggest one, Isaac Robinson taking it down.
Guy's an animal. Came out of nowhere.
If going into this week you had told me someone was going to win this event at 11 under par, I would have thought there was 3 players in the field that could do it. 4 maybe. I would have went Simon, Ricky, Paul, Chris Dickerson.
You mean shooting 11 under par?
Averaged 11 under par.
Averaging 11.
Across 3 rounds.
Yeah.
He went 11, 12, 10.
Yeah.
I would have thought there was literally 4 players in the field that were capable of that.
Yeah.
Dickerson shot a 29 under, which if you would have said, again, going into the week, you'd have said, someone's going to shoot 29 under, do they win? I'd probably be like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially looking at it and knowing the weather was going to be pretty, like,
you
iffy.
think. Dickerson played out of his mind.
Dickerson basically made someone have to shoot average double digits at a very, very hard course to beat him.
Yeah.
And Ezra was like, yeah, I can do that. Or Isaac, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I did that so many times.
I actually played with Ezra at 2017 Ledgestone. And Isaac was smacking the crap out of both of us. It was me, Ezra Robinson, and Dylan Lotak.
Isaac Robinson is actually insane. It's like one of those things where like it's happened a few times this year where like somebody wins and you're like, okay, obviously I know who that is. It's not like he's like that irrelevant, but like let me go back and look at his season because I haven't.
Yes, that's
and like he's been okay.
He's been sneaky this year though.
Yeah,
he had a 5th place at Waco, but that got overshadowed by the Luke Humphrey storyline.
Yeah,
5th place probably wasn't a storyline anyways.
Remember Luke Humphreys? We thought he was going to be so good.
At that time, Luke Humphreys had just went second basically, right? Las Vegas then Waco, and so big storyline there. He finished top 20 at Champions Cup. Not really a storyline we would have covered. Then he podiumed at Portland Open, but it got overshadowed because that was Simon's back-to-back win.
Yeah.
So his 2 ones that could have been a storyline
he's been
got
good.
Overshadowed by bigger storylines.
He's been good this year.
And so looking back, I mean, it really shouldn't have been that big of a surprise. But I think too many people still think he's like an unknown player.
Anytime somebody breaks into the winner's circle for the first time at that stage and, you know, that's always going to be like, oh, who is this, you know, bursting onto the scene. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, the way he putts,
unreal.
It is unbelievable. I mean, he was just 100%
C1X on the tournament.
I mean, that's incredible. When you're in that, and I believe it was 57% C2.
Something like that. Yeah. And it's unreal.
When you look at that, he made 4 from circle 2 in rounds 2 and 3. Was just making bombs all over the course. Is like when he saw the basket, the putt was going in, and it was clutch. Like you get to 17. Dickerson was giving him everything. I mean, Dickerson was giving him his best, and he gets to 17,
hit that like 40-something footer,
just closes him out. Like I mean, ice cold. Like he was insane. He was hitting all those pressure lines down the stretch, just throwing his putters, hitting gaps. Like really, really talented. And like when you can putt that well, you're like that's the guy that you got to pay attention to. Like he's
officially on tour as far as what they were saying on coverage. He just graduated college this year and now he's touring.
Yeah,
and what a way to get started.
Yeah, that's a scary thing too. That means he has had time allocated elsewhere, and now it's all going to be on disc golf.
I mean, you know, what I loved when he was walking down 18. They like had a camera on him pretty much the whole time, and you could like slowly see it start to settle in. And he like was still nervous until he threw his approach shot, or 18, sorry.
Yeah.
And once he threw a great drive, once he had his second shot on 18, out the gap, inside, like it was like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
Then he was like, okay, I'd have to like 5 putt from there. So then he like let it settle. But you could like see it all building up, and then you could like see the moment it released, and he realized like, I just won a Pro Tour event.
It's crazy.
And then obviously he had the moment after he tapped out where his brother like sprinted onto the green, and they, you know, who knows what his brother was saying to him. But I mean, they've been working at it for years and years, obviously. That whole family's a disc golf family. I want to say they have another brother that plays, but to see it all culminate to that, it was quite the storyline. And it didn't feel like a fluke win.
No.
Like it didn't feel like, okay, well that was like...
Oh, no, I mean, he's been good all season. Like you said, he's had good finishes. And
he felt like the type of guy that like, you might want to look out for him the rest of the year.
I think we're just going to have to say that he was under the radar. That's really what it was. It's not a fluke, under the radar. That's all it was. And yeah, I now that he's got that win under his belt, I'm going to be paying attention to him. I mean, I think that this course launched up the top. He's now 10th in the world on UDisc. Yeah, he just launched up the rankings.
I do think that this course played to his strength somewhat. But when one of your biggest strengths is putting, a lot of courses are going to play to your strengths.
If Idlewild plays to your strengths, then you're going to be pretty tough to beat everywhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, that course is just an
like
animal.
Dickerson. Yeah. Idlewild plays to Dickerson's strength, and Dickerson.
And he's
we'll
tough
get into
to
the
beat
power
everywhere.
rankings, but I think he's the best player in the world still.
Yeah. Dickerson's an animal.
Anyways, we can just talk through that. Dickerson picked basically right back up where he left off. This was a big week for us, I think, because I was like, all right, this is where we see what Dickerson's really made of. Like, have we overhyped Dickerson?
He is still the guy you have to beat every week.
Yeah, he's the guy that you show up to the course, you're like, if I beat Chris, I'm podiuming at least.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be up there if I can beat Chris.
He's unreal.
He even, like hole 1 yesterday, when they're coming out the gates, I selfishly needed Gannon to win, Chris to go. I needed Gannon to win, Chris to come third for my points. is what I needed. Which going into the final day, Gannon was on lead, Cartier and Chris. I was thinking, all right, here we go. I got something here. But I also kind of wanted Chris to win just in general because I like Chris.
Yeah.
And he threw his first shot. Like he just didn't turn his force over. Just went straight OB left. And I was like, oh boy, this could be the start.
I saw that.
And then
what was he doing trying to hyzer flip that day?
I think he was trying to throw it flat and have it turn. He put it on hyzer. I've been there. Every throw.
Yeah.
But then he just got up and down and then just moved on. Like he's birdie and
the par 5 towards the end where he threw that turnover forehand and got like all the way out the gap. Oh my gosh.
He's so good.
He's unreal.
He has every shot you need. I mean, he's the real deal. I think he took a long time off, obviously. We talked about it and we knocked him down in the world rankings. I think he's right back where he belongs. I think he's up top. But
he's kind of like, okay, you guys gonna shut up with your dumb little podcast.
Yeah. Here I am. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Gannon Burr, though, obviously he had a rough round, final round.
Yeah.
Rough by his standards. I think he shot like 1 under. He still came like top 4.
Yeah.
That's just how good he was playing. His season, he just continues to be unreal.
Yeah.
Like he had some
consistent.
he had some quote unquote rough tournaments towards the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Vegas,
like
he almost
in
won.
The 20s, I think.
But
he was in. Yeah.
He had a few finishes that were unusual, but since then he's really got his groove. And I mean, we'd have to look at how many weeks it's been since he's been outside the top 10.
Oh, it's been. I was
been
just
a long
looking
time.
at it the other day. It's been so many.
Yeah, like I think he is one of the players as well that like he might be there's an argument for him to be the second best player in the world right now.
Yeah.
There's a very solid argument.
If I had to bet money on which players are going to come inside the top, like if I have to bet for top 3, it's Gannon and Chris Dickerson. Those are the only 2 guys that I would be comfortable betting on because those guys are every single week. It's not even like it's just like their games can suit every course because they're great putters. They have all the shots and they just always have their game. Like they're just not an off week for them. They're just always on.
Well, a big thing with them is their putt is always very confident, and they both have that like step putt. Dickerson's been doing the step putt for
they're
longer
good from
than
range.
most people in the Pro Tour. But what the step putt does that I really like about it is it seems to never just blow past.
No.
Like if you see guys who like if they're having like a slightly off day with their step putt, sometimes they're just drilling them dead hard. The change is gonna go 25 feet past. 25 feet for a guy like Gannon or Chris Dickerson, that's not really going far past. But if you see like Ricky, obviously his putt, he doesn't jump.
Yeah.
Paul either doesn't jump or he like does jump bullets. If their putt inside the circle is slightly off, like if they get to like their jump putts are gonna put them sometimes like 30, 40 feet.
Yeah.
That's what I really love the step putt for.
It's
and the
so
guys
good.
like Dickerson and Gannon, obviously, Brody's brought one on, and people have been controversial with like foot faults versus not, stuff like that. The step putt, I think, is something that everyone needs in their game until someone says something about it.
Yeah.
Because it's overpowered to a certain extent.
Oh, it's way too good.
Because like you can now basically turn a 35-footer into a 30-footer.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah, the step putting, I'm starting to like it's really sinking in this year that like having that like 30 to 60 range dialed in, like being really lethal from there is just like that's what it takes to win.
That's what Paul had in 2015.
Yeah.
That just got overlooked.
Yeah.
That was, if you go back to 2015 and you look at Paul's putting, that range, he was hitting metal.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time.
Yeah.
And if you're hitting metal every time, you're staying close to the basket or it's going in.
Right.
And like that's the thing that separates people. And here we are 7 years later. Yeah. That's still the thing people need. Because 2016 Rick, 2017 Rick, what did he have? He had a putt that when he was within 50 feet, he was at least hitting metal. Like if Ricky airballed a 50-footer in 2016, 2017, it was shocking.
Right.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
And it just gets overlooked because it's not as flashy. Mm-hmm. Like watching people hit a 45-footer is like, especially people like Chris or Gannon, like it's cool, but you forget about it the next hole.
Exactly.
But that's what you need.
Yeah.
And that's what Isaac Robinson just did.
Yeah, I mean, he's just stealing strokes from the course all over the place, and it's not even just for birdies; it's to save pars. Like you're just taking
well, the game
strokes from the
becomes
course.
so much easier if you're like, hey, if I'm within 50 feet,
If I can see the basket,
if I'm within 50 feet, I have a solid shot at making it.
Yeah.
The game becomes so much easier.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, it's not how do I snake to the basket. It's like, okay, well this gap will get me to 55 feet, and I can probably save par from there.
Right.
I mean,
it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And these guys, once they heat up, they know they're making everything.
Another player this weekend that I think is starting to have to be talked about a little more is Kyle Klein. There's now back-to-back podiums for him.
Yeah, he's heating up.
I looked at his season, and it is kind of all over the place, you know, but he has a lot of top 25s.
Yeah.
And now he has back-to-back podiums to where if he can have another good finish or two, he can really start making his name more and more relevant.
I think if Kyle can just grab a win this year, we will easily be able to just be like, yeah, he had a good season. It's just, it's tough being in his shoes. Like when you're like one of the young prodigy guys, not as in the company, as in the term.
You're a prodigy.
You're a prodigy. Like you're an up-and-comer, and people just expect really big things. And it's really tough when you've got like 17-year-old Gannon Burr kind of like setting the standard there. But he's still playing good disc golf, and like he can win any week.
Isaac Robinson's got to be like 22.
I think he's 22.
Somewhere in there, because they say he just graduated college.
Yeah.
So like that's got to put him in that.
Yeah.
I mean, the young talent on the tour is insane.
The tour is terrifying.
Well, think of it. 5 years from now, Isaac Robinson will be.
You're gonna have 5 years from now. You're gonna have all these guys that are young right now in their primes, and then you're gonna have
Gannon Burr. Gannon Burr 5 years from now will be 22. Gannon Burr will be the age of Isaac Robinson 5 years from now.
Just like my thing is, Gannon Burr is gonna have a long prime. The thing is, like, it's impossible to say that like we don't have enough precedent to say that Gannon Burr is generational talent. So with that, what I mean by that is, he's obviously incredible for a 17-year-old, but who's to say 3 years from now, 2 years from now, 1 year from now, there won't be another 17-year-old? Because Gannon Burr came out of nowhere. Nobody was paying attention to him. So like there could be, I mean, think about 5 years from now, we might have, tons more of these young guys flooding in each year. I mean, the field is going to get very quickly so tough, and I love it.
Yeah. Final storyline I think we got to talk about is like going into the final round. I think it was Stat Mando put out some type of stat about Paul and Ricky. I think if they both started an Elite Series or a major, they've never gone into the final round with both of them. I'm gonna pull it up with both of them outside the top.
Yeah, there's a lot of these like Paige, Cat, Ricky, Paul stats getting thrown around right now because it just shows how hard it's gotten.
Final round LWS Open will be the first time that both Macbeth and Wysocki have started the final round of an Elite Series or a major event outside the top 20.
Ever.
First time ever. With both of them playing. So both have started the final round. So basically one of them could DNF or whatever. That's probably happened. Both playing the final round. Both have started with both outside the top 20. But we saw a similar thing that we saw from Paul at Champions Cup. And we've seen from him a few different times where
don't understand
when there's no pressure, the final round, he's out. He's not in the lead. He literally can't win. He does something ridiculous, which this time he cooled off. I mean, it was only 13 under.
Yeah. He was 9 through 8.
But he was 9 through 8. Yeah, like he comes out the gates. It's not a 16 under WR Jackson round.
No.
But
it was pretty incredible.
It's a similar vibe, though, where he comes out, he does something insane, he gets everyone talking about him, he sneaks into the top 10, and then you're just like,
I just can't.
Oh, yeah, there's Paul. That's Paul, remember.
And like,
but what's he got to do to put a whole tournament together like that?
It's all mental, I really think, because every time I watch him, he's changing things up. Mm-hmm. He looks like a different player every time I watch him. So he's clearly just in that frustration mode right now where, he's just trying to find the answer. And I think it's tough because like clearly like there are times where he does figure it out.
Yeah.
Like this previous rounder at WR Jackson. And maybe what's happening is he just can't settle in on strategy or form. And he's just like, because it's like everybody's gone through it with like putting, right? Where you figure out something you like with your putt. It's working. And then all of a sudden it doesn't work one day and you scratch it. You go back to the drawing board. I think that's what's happening with Paul. He's figuring something out, but then the second he has a bad day with it, he's scratching it too quickly instead of just settling in and realizing that like he has the talent and know-how to
I think the big thing
get around the course
is being the best player in the world looks different this year than it ever has before.
Yeah, it doesn't mean winning every week.
It doesn't. It doesn't even mean coming top 5 every week. I mean, realistically, like
it probably
there's a player doing it, but
at this point it means coming top 10 at this point. If you're the best player in disc golf, you're winning probably once every 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah,
at best, and you're coming top 10 every week with an exception of maybe one.
Yeah,
like that.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that mindset is just something that's never been in it before. Yeah. So like, and in a lot of ways, like if Paul finishes in 12th, it's like if Paul goes into the final day and he's in 10th or 11th, he's like, I'm pushing for the win. And then he drops like 15th. It's like, oh, well, this sucks. It's over.
Right.
I think it's just a different mental shift than has ever been needed before.
Well, Paul is not, and he will never do this, but he's just not a guy who's ever going to be used to playing for a place.
Yeah.
He wants first. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
but I think
it doesn't work the same as it used to.
It's just probably hurts because like you can't, like you can obviously play to win, but you can't be like beating yourself up every week, because when a guy like Isaac Robinson goes out there and just does what he did to that course, you're probably not beating that guy.
No.
Like you're probably
that's the thing too.
There are just some weeks where you're just not going to beat somebody.
Before it was like we were saying, like if you go out and you beat Dickerson right now, that means you played good.
Yeah.
Previously, it was like if you're Paul and you show up and you beat Ricky, you won.
Yeah.
Pretty
Not
much.
anymore.
But now it's like
The field is
okay. So
too
I
good.
beat Chris. So like let's say you beat Chris by 1. You shot 30 under. You lost by 1. You lost by 2, 3 still.
There's going to be somebody every
Like
week.
there's like 20 to 30 players that now any of them can play at that level. None of them can play at it consistently.
Right, but somebody's
when you
gonna
have
do it.
30 of them,
Yeah.
someone's going to. And it's just a completely different game of disc golf. And from a fan's perspective, it's a lot more fun to watch game of disc golf.
Certainly.
Let's get into some points though. So after this week, I got 2 for the dark horse. Thank you, Andrew Fish. 1 for MPO, 1 from FPO, brings me up to 86 points. Trevor got 3 for MPO, getting that Dickerson pick right. 1 for FPO brings him up to 47 points. And Connor just got 1 point for FPO, puts him at 55.
Tracked on him. I feel like I'm going to need to keep reminding people that Hunter, like we gave him this like crazy bet that got him 20 points at one point. So while he still...
Was it 20 or was it 15? I think it was only 15.
You certainly
think it was 15.
Well, then it was a lot.
I think I'm just destroying y'all.
Well, you are, but it's... Like 15 points is a lot of points. Like you would get,
Yeah, I'd
it would
be at
take
70.
you. Yeah, it would take you a lot of points game. I just want to.
I'd still have you by 23.
I'm just trying to make them understand that
Hey,
he doesn't. You don't have 86
Austin
points
Hannum got-
from predictions.
It was a prediction.
It was a prediction. Never
Austin
mind.
Hannum. Y'all took me on it. It was all in your hands.
No, I completely agree. I just like people are probably going to be like confused because they're like there wasn't even that many points up for grab this season. Like how is it mathematically possible? Because
I'm an anomaly. Let's get into some power ranking updates.
and that bet you took was insane.
Power rankings, I wrote down kind of where I have it, but I want to hear your thoughts. So we'll kind of
Okay.
go over. I think Chris Dickerson regained his first place in the world.
Definitely.
So check there. Ricky struggled this weekend, but when you're looking at his whole season as a whole, I don't think he struggled enough to justify. I mean, we did bump him down because Dickerson back to 1, but
Sprained
I don't
his
think we
ankle.
justified anything else
Yeah,
going
he
on.
bruised his ankle too. He's banged up still.
Same thing with Simon. Simon performed fine out there. I think it's going to take guys like Simon, Ricky, Chris. It's going to take multiple weeks for them to start dropping, in my mind.
They still got recent wins.
And then Gannon Burr finished 4th. He's not going anywhere.
yeah,
Matty O,
He had a
solid
good-
performance.
He had a good finish.
These two here.
Matty O is so interesting because he is probably not going to win this year, and he is going to have a higher finishing place than so many other people that won this year.
Yeah.
It's-
Because he's just consistent.
Yeah, like
He's just consistently
I want him
like,
to
in the
win
middle.
something.
He did have a very rough start. We got to remember that. I was looking back at it.
He did.
If you go back, yeah, he has some very low finishes.
Well, like in like Texas.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll bring it up.
I just like erase Texas from my mind because everybody is all over the place in Texas. If I look back at somebody's schedule and they played well even in Texas, I'm like, wow, you're the GOAT.
So this year, Pro Tour, he came 15th Texas States, 2nd Tallahassee Open, 5th Champions Cup. Oh, he DNF'd DDO. Never mind. I take everything I said back. I looked at it at like 11 o'clock last night.
Okay.
He DNF'd DDO. It just doesn't say DNF.
He had appendicitis.
No, I think it was COVID, wasn't it? Or was that appendicitis?
He had appendicitis.
He had appendicitis,
At one
okay.
point. I think it was DDO.
So that was his finish. Never mind. I take it back. He definitely belongs there. This is the interesting one to me. Calvin Heimberg wasn't there this weekend. Mm-hmm. So Calvin and Paul, I have 6-7 right now. Calvin 6, Paul 7. Do we leave that?
Yeah, I think you don't need. There's no cry to shift Paul. He played one good round.
Okay. Joel Freeman, he had a rough round, but when you look at his season compared to the other guys on the list, or rough tournament, I guess I should say,
Yeah.
he's a similar player where he's had a good enough season up to this point. I don't think we do anything shocking yet.
Yeah.
So I think we leave. I think we leave the rest of it as it is. Joel Freeman 8, James Conrad 9, Kyle Klein 10.
Yeah. I think Isaac Robinson is probably sneaking into the top 15 though. If you were to think about it. Like if
I think
he rattles off another couple good finishes, he could creep
Alden
his way
Harris
up
is another player that he had a rough start, but is starting to like get closer and closer to like that top 25 where he's finishing
there. Yeah.
more consistently up there. Another player, quick shout out that had a good round or good tournament was Jeremy Coleman.
Where'd he finish?
I saw his name up there.
I didn't see his name.
He was never in contention, but he was up there.
Jeremy
He was like
Coleman,
15th. I think.
Jeremy Coleman
Something
is
like that.
not playing
He slid
awful
in
this
there.
season at all.
Ninth. He tied ninth.
Oh.
Okay, there you go. I think Paul was tied ninth, wasn't he?
Yes. No,
Yeah.
Paul is sixth.
Oh, Paul
Tied
was sixth. That's right.
There's like a stroke separating.
Yeah,
all
it's
of these
really
places.
jumbled up in there. Big German is like playing fine this season. I mean, he has such a good forehand that like there are courses like this that like he's just going to be able to navigate it really well because he's going to be accurate with that forehand and hit touchy shots.
Yeah.
So
FPO, I kept Missy Gannon fifth. Owen
she
Scoggins
played
and
well.
her, I think, are kind of both vying for that position, but I think Missy's had a better season so far. Valerie Mandahano, when you look at the season scope, she can't be moved yet. So even though she had a rough tournament.
well, we had her jump cat last week, didn't we?
No,
I'm almost positive we did.
unless we changed it. Not on my notes. But I'm putting Val fourth.
I think we did. I think like you wrote it down maybe, but I think we decided to.
Okay, well then you're going to be questioning what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I'm bumping Paige Pierce down to third place. Back-to-back bad weeks. Kristen Tatar, we don't really know what to do with Kristen.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do with Kristen.
So I'm leaving Kristen second. I'm
Okay.
bumping Paige down to third and putting Katrina Allen the best player in the world.
Why?
Well, let me tell you. Because
I-
basically Paige had bad
Bad.
Paige has had bad back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
I don't want Kristen to just become world number one by Paige just dropping.
I
So to
respect
me,
that.
I have Paige and Kat as like 1, 2, and Kristen's just in there. So I'm just flipping them.
I honestly I respect that logic. You're usually not going to make the people mad when you put the most recent winner in.
Well, let me just read.
because at the end of the day,
So this is well, like listen to this.
The
So
power
this
has
is
been ranked.
Katrina Allen, OTB Open 9th, bad. Portland Open 3rd, Silver Series at Beaver State 2nd, Preserve 4th, U.S. Women's 4th, Win It.
yeah, she
Idlewild.
hasn't had the awful weeks like Paige has.
If you go Paige Pierce,
Paige is all over the place.
PDGA, those same tournaments. So I went back to OTB. That's where I went. Is that right?
You're
Because she didn't play as many. She won OTB, but then she went 4th at Portland. Paige just won the Preserve, but then she went 21st U.S. Women, and then Idlewild. She came in 9th, I believe.
you're questioning yourself.
I'm questioning everything. Oh, Paige came in 13th at Idlewild. So she went 21st, 13th, back-to-back weeks. That just isn't number one in the world to me.
It's not.
So I think our options are we go Kristen, Paige, Kat.
I would bump Kristen down to third.
So you go Kat, Paige, Kristen.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's time that we.
But can Kat jump Paige, you think?
yes.
Going just
That's
fourth,
fine.
first,
That's fine.
21st,
We'll let it
13th.
happen. We'll let it happen.
So Kat, Paige, Kristen.
Imagine we did a power rankings that was like actual rankings on who has the most power, and we just like based on what we saw, like we just like like so and so is thrown really far. We're going to bump them up and like there's no numbers behind it.
That's very
We're
funny.
just like whoever we think throws the furthest. That would make people probably more mad. Like actual disc golfers would probably make burner accounts on us to like
Probably.
they'd be so offended.
Yeah. We're going to talk super quick about the Charleston trip, but first I want to let you know who is making this Charleston, South Carolina trip possible, and that is Flippy Disc Golf. If you hadn't heard of Flippy and you want to look fresh on the disc golf course, drop what you're doing and listen up. Find your new style today over at Flippy Disc Golf. Flippy creates super soft, stretchy, and lightweight jerseys with men and women disc golfers in mind. The lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric keeps you cool on the course and lets you throw smoothly and freely without any snagging or sticking. Flippy also offers customization to your jerseys, which is perfect for tournament players packs, double teams, sponsored players, etc. You can head over to flippydiscgolf.com and get 10% off with the code Foundation10. That's flippydiscgolf.com and get 10% off with the code Foundation10 at checkout after you browse through all the available styles and pick the one to look good out there on the course. So super big thank you to Flippy Disc Golf for presenting the Creators Cup that's going on this weekend and sponsoring our entire trip down to Charleston. We're super excited. We got some sick jerseys made up that will be debuting this week. And also we're rocking some of their cool jerseys. They also have some sick hats.
Yeah.
Dad hats. I got a
That's a really cool.
I got a donut hat. I know y'all got the juice hat, right?
Juice box.
Juice. It's got a juice box.
Yeah, they got a juice box.
You should check out
Juice
the dad
box.
hats. They're pretty
Yeah,
sick.
so head over to flippydiscgolf.com and don't forget to use code Foundation10 at checkout. You're not going to regret that. And again, thank you to Flippy Disc Golf for making this trip possible. So quick overview of what we're about to get into this week.
We're getting into some stuff.
We're going to be going down today. As soon as this podcast is over, we're rolling out. And we're going to be heading down there. Today, we're just going to kind of check out the Foundation Charleston store, play a little round down there for funsies, and that's that. tomorrow, Tuesday, 10 a.m., we have a Bogey Bro battle against the guys that are opening the store, Foundation Charleston, at Park Circle. All of these things that I'm talking about, if you're in the area down there, we're going to have a post about it hopefully tonight go up. If you're in the area, you're more than welcome to come spectate, hang out, watch. So that's 10 a.m. approximately tomorrow at Park Circle. Wednesday at 4:30 p.m., we're going to be playing a Bogey Bro battle at Trophy Lakes. Do we have a Bogey Bro battle team name for them?
Let me check.
He'll check.
I think I do.
We're going to play in Trophy Lakes, 4:30 on, that'll be Wednesday. Then Thursday's the day Brody comes into town. We don't have a time for this one, but we're going to be doing Can I Break 60 at Trophy Lakes Blues.
The Chucktown Chains.
The Chucktown Chains, we're going to be playing them at Trophy Lakes on Wednesday. Thursday, I'm going to be doing a Break 60 challenge at Trophy Lakes Blues because someone bet me $20 that I couldn't do it on debate night. And we'll see. It is definitely going to be tough. And that's Thursday. Friday, it's already sold out, but spectators are more than welcome out at SOAC, 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern sharp, Foundation versus the Nation. There's about 30-some competitors that will be playing in the Foundation versus the Nation this year. Super stoked for that.
We're undefeated in that, right?
Yeah. We won the last one in the playoff.
Nice.
Nerve-wracking stuff. But still TBD, Silas or Connor, who's pulling in the caboose there.
Yeah.
For the Foundation versus the Nation.
Really, it just kind of depends on if Brody has his game.
Yeah, if Brody's on, then no one's touching us.
Yeah, then we're going to win.
But so that'll be Friday, 5 p.m. And then the Creators Cup's going down Saturday and Sunday. Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. is the round of singles out of the Naval Weapons Station. And then 1 p.m. at the Charleston Southern Fields. We're going to be doing the field challenges. And then 5 p.m. Saturday night. This is the one you're really not going to miss. If you are anywhere within driving distance, you're going to want to be there. The Foundation Charleston grand opening. There is some confirmed Dark Horse stuff that's going to be there. We'll have those posts going up here soon, letting you know what that's going to be.
Celebrity appearances like Silas.
Silas Isaacson will be there. Danny Lindahl will be there. Some Brody Smith guy will be there.
Never heard of him.
He sucks. Anyways, you're not going to miss that. And the Dark Horse item will probably be a limit of one per person. So you're going to want to kind of show up early and get in line if you're trying to get your hands on that.
It's a Dark Horse lawn chair.
Yep. Dang it, Trevor. You weren't supposed to tell him. No, it's a disc. It's a disc of some type. I just don't want to say what it is because there's a chance it doesn't come in and we have to bring the other item down. It's a long story. You'll understand when you're down there. Very excited for it. So that's Saturday, 5 p.m. And then the match play finals of the Creators Cup is going to be Sunday, 8:30 a.m. back at the Naval Weapons Station.
I love
playing
that.
for the Creators Cup.
That's going to be exciting, man.
Yeah,
playing for the Cup.
If you're in the area, mark your calendars. Come out to some of those events. We'll be down there.
The Cup, man.
And we're very, very, very excited. There's also a lot of other channels going to be down there. A lot of content. You want to get the trophy, Silas? Yeah. There's a lot of other channels down there. There's going to be all kinds of content.
Bonus shout out to Idlewild for having a cool trophy.
Yeah, the propellers.
I misspoke. They have a cool trophy that they keep. That's cool at least. But the one they gave Kat was still pathetic.
What they give Kat?
It was like this tall.
Well, I don't mind. I don't think that you should see the one the players take home.
That would be helpful.
I think that's just for the players. There's no reason to show that.
They handed, that would be
the
helpful.
The propellers that your name gets put on, hand that to the player.
The whole thing gets rushed. The problem is literally they handed her the propeller. She raises it above her head and then
they immediately took it and handed the other trophy.
Yeah, and then Terry's over there. It's so fast.
Yeah,
but
I don't think you see
the propeller was cool though.
I don't think you should see the one that goes home with the players. There's no reason for that.
Yeah. Or do a medal maybe because then it's it meant to be small.
Yeah, I don't know. But really quickly, what are each of you? What are you most excited about for the Charleston week?
Ooh, one item. I'm excited for everything because I just love competition.
One item. Come on.
But I'm definitely most excited for the singles Creators Cup. I want to if I get a chance to play, I would say I'm most excited for the match play, but I would say the chances of me making it are pretty slim. But if I get to that match play, that'll be very fun to get a chance to play for the Cup, for Foundation, and then potentially lose it for Foundation.
And then we just ride your tail for the rest of eternity.
Being the guy who has to try and win it for our channel because once you get the match play, everything's cleared
Gloves
out.
are off.
It's just
bare knuckle.
Oh
5 rounds,
dude! If I got to play my hero Danny Lindahl for the Cup, it's gonna be tough.
A lot of people were saying you look like Isaac Robinson. By the way, did you see all those?
I felt flattered because he's a good-looking guy. I like him, so I'll take it.
Silas, what are you most excited
I
for?
just shaved my face, so that's
Trevor-
not going to help my comparisons.
Trevor kind of took mine, but
Oh, okay. Good. You
No,
thought you were going
no.
to play for the cup?
no, I didn't think that. But however, if you
Wait,
if
can I-
you
I'll
two
change
guys
my
do
answer.
lose,
I'll change my answer. The crawfish boil. We got
Oh,
invited.
yeah.
We got invited to a crawfish boil, and I've never been to one of them. That's my answer.
yeah, no, I'm excited just to see the competition out there because I
Nice.
think it's very stiff competition.
That's poetic, like politician's answer right there.
Yeah, the competition.
I just want to see the competition out there. Just want to compete.
Yeah,
That's fair.
that's
fair.
all. That's
I'm
all.
definitely most excited for the store opening. That's definitely what I'm most excited
Salesman guy over here.
Yeah, big sales
Business guy
for.
over here.
That's just what I'm most excited for. I've been looking forward to this.
I'm
trip
excited. It's
for a
gonna
while.
be the food. I saw one of the
Food
food
trucks?
trucks that's gonna be
Yeah, it
there. It
looks
looks
sick.
awesome. Yeah.
That sign, that desk that they got.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
that thing is
excited.
Awesome.
Very
I hope you
excited
guys
for
are ready for the U section to get cleaned out by
I'm
us.
bringing. I'm bringing about. I brought about 10 to 12 discs from my collection to put in the U section.
We're gonna have to hold Connor and Silas back from that U section.
There's one. I brought a misprint 1060 Onyx, one of one that we got in our shipment years ago. It's like off center. It's crazy. I brought it for the U section.
Look at you, man.
Pretty
I didn't
excited.
bring anything for the U section.
Well, it's more because I was bringing my backups and putting in the Atlas Voyager bag.
Oh.
And my
This guy's bringing backups.
my well, yeah. I'm
I
playing
also have
Trevor
my
Wicks.
I also
My
have my
backups-
Atlas
I respect
Voyager.
that.
Bag.
I'm still in my gyro only, so I only have like 10 backups.
So
And so I needed to fill the rest of it. So I was like, I'll just bring some used disc for them so that my
There you
bag's
go.
full.
There you go.
Good guy, Hunter.
All right, let's get into the fan favorite segment, Trevor's Trivia. What do you got?
Okay, so I think this is gonna be this is a pretty good question. It's a pretty difficult one, I think. But obviously with Isaac getting the win, it just speaks more to the parity of the field this year. So I kind of picked out an interesting question. So out of the top 30 in the U-Disc rankings, so pretty far out there, top 30 players, excluding Eagle McMahon, who's been hurt a bunch, Nate Sexton, who barely ever plays, and then two European players, Laurie Lettinen and Nicholas Antia, who are not really over here a ton. Excluding them, there are 3 players inside of the top 30. Only 3 players, I should say. That's what's impressive about it. There's only 3 players in the top 30 without a top 5 at a Pro Tour, not a Silver Series, Pro Tour or major event. There's only 3 of them in the entire top 30 without a top 5
This year or ever?
this year.
In the top 30.
Yep.
Without a top 5. I mean, there's no way I get this, and I'm going to insult whoever I say. Man,
It's a tough one.
that's near impossible.
I wanted to stump you. I wouldn't say it's near impossible.
One player, he came to my mind mainly because I saw him on coverage this week, and it made me go, oh, I haven't seen that player like all year. But I don't think this is the answer, but I'm going to say it anyways because the only one I have in my head
Okay.
is Adam Hammes.
No.
Okay, well, that was the only one I have in my head. I saw him on coverage this week, and I was like, I don't feel like I've seen him yet
He was
this year.
I think he just had a top 5.
He might have just come in top 5. Nope. Okay, he didn't at this tournament at least. He came in 9th.
Is one Nikola Castro?
No,
Correct.
Really?
Oh.
Wow, Silas.
Nico hasn't come
go.
top 5 this year.
Not at a Pro Tour or major.
It's a Silver Series he has.
Correct. Nico, Open at Belton and Music City, came top 5.
Music City's a Silver Series.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
that's
Sorry, I'm looking-
Nico.
Dang it, Portland Open is the only one Hammes came
Yeah.
top 5.
Oh.
Close. Good
I was
guess.
like scrolling. I was like, "Oh, Trevor's about to eat
Silas-
his freaking words."
Silas is on a roll here.
Well, Silas, what's the other one then?
There's 2. Two
Oh,
more.
there's 2.
One of the other ones.
No, there's 3 total. There's 2 more.
One
Oh, man.
one of the other ones is very much gettable. The other
Jeremy
one is
Coleman.
going to be tough. No, he's not in the top 30.
I was hoping. It's just a sneaky pick.
There is quite a few that have just one. That makes it very
Man.
difficult.
Ezra?
Oh my gosh, you got 2! I swear this is
let's
not a
go.
setup. I swear on my life this is
Wow.
not a setup. It looks like it is.
I would have never guessed Ezra.
Man.
Honestly, Ezra.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer, Silas.
What the
Didn't even
heck?
cross my mind.
Yeah, Ezra is only top 5
All
this
right,
year.
well,
was at Music
I'm not
City.
answering the third,
Oh
mainly because I don't
my-
have an answer, but also I want to see if Silas can
This
get 3
one,
for 3.
this would be crazy. There's no way he
I'm
gets
trying
this
to
one.
think who's in the top 30.
This would be crazy. I'll show Hunter who it is.
Oh, you could. It's possible. It's definitely possible.
Have
for you
I
to get.
have I heard the name before?
Yeah.
Can I sneak it? Can I give him a hint?
He mentioned him.
I've said his name on this podcast.
This very episode.
What? Man.
In Silas' defense, I wouldn't have thought he was a top 30 guy.
He did just jump 9 spots into the top 30.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought he was.
So he wasn't until just now, pretty much. He makes some really good vlogs.
Oh, Alden Harris?
Yeah.
There it is, yeah.
All right, we won't really fully give him a third there.
No, but that was pretty incredible.
Was very impressive.
That was incredible.
Incredible. I would not have got a single one.
That was so impressive.
I would not have got a single one.
Dang.
I'm still upset that Adam Hammonds had to come 5th at Portland.
Yeah, he ruined it for you.
He ruined it for me because that would have really set me on my drop.
Isn't that crazy that that's Adam Hammonds? That's his only top 5.
He was a player that 2 years ago or even last year we were like, this is the one of the futures.
That is
sport.
something we need to remember when we start getting hype about everybody that's having a good season and who's young is stuff like Adam Hammonds, what he hasn't really done.
Oh, Kyle Klein last year we thought was the best player in the world because he won Idlewild in a playoff against Andrew Marweed, and then went into a playoff with Paul at USDGC, and then came out this year just flat.
Poopy.
He started putting it together, but he came out flat.
Guys get expectations when they have good seasons when they're young. It takes a little bit.
Easier. It's a lot easier to play good when no one expects you to play good.
That's what I've done my whole career.
Yeah. Well, you had to actually play good though.
True.
Final topic for today is Drew Gibson sent this tweet out.
Bro, Drew Gibson is the Salt King.
He said, there's a time when conditions are too bad to play, and it doesn't have to be because of lightning, all caps lightning. 40-mile-per-hour winds isn't disc golf, and neither is a sloppy, muddy course causing touring players injury. The TD nor the Disc Golf Pro Tour can control the weather, but we don't have to suffer. # rest in peace, Barella.
I have some comments on this.
Yes, great. I thought you would.
Number one comment is, let's not attack Drew because everybody gets frustrated. And everybody is capable of tweeting something like that. Number 2 comment, it's really tough. It is really, and I understand tee times were different, weather was different for people, but it's really tough to take that comment super to heart and legitimate when people tore that course to shreds and you didn't.
Yeah.
So we know that you probably wouldn't tweet that if you were at 30 under par. Actually, I know you wouldn't tweet that if you were at 30 par. That's where it gets tough. That being said, hidden in that tweet, there is some truth where I do believe he's right. I believe that the weather contingency that the Pro Tour has right now, which is essentially there is none, is not going to cut it long term. Right now, the Pro Tour basically cannot reschedule rounds. There's no structure for that. I understand it's tough with the way the tour is right now. People just can't fly in and out of places. People have flights booked for Monday to go to Europe. It's difficult. But in the future, there needs to be, just because there isn't lightning, this is clearly not the condition we want to put on an event in. There needs to be a way that they can reschedule things, shift things around. Because that's how professional golf needs to work. Professional sports needs to work. There is always going to be conditions that are too bad. When you got players stepping on 2 towels to throw shots, which I don't even have words for that. That was wild. It's tough. I don't even know what happened to AB yet. I'm assuming he got injured. But another thing to mention is, let's not act like it was a bloodbath out there, right? Haley King and Anthony Barella were both injured. I don't even think Haley King's had anything to do with the weather. I might be wrong. But it's a professional sport being played at a high level. People are going to get hurt. It's not like everybody was just dropping like flies out there. So let's not make it like the PDGA and the Pro Tour sitting back watching a slaughter out there.
No, I think you control what you can control. And realistically, when you throw a shot in the fairway, it might be muddy, slick, whatever. That's going to happen. Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
It could be perfect conditions out and areas didn't dry.
There's going to be mud.
Once you're in the fairway, I think you control what you can control. Which the tee pads, you can make tee pads that, regardless of rain, regardless of conditions, will give you grip.
Yeah.
I think that you control. Beyond that, in the fairway and stuff, if you have to go stand still because of where you landed, that's golf. You know what I mean? That's just it is what it is.
Yeah, the weather and the whole wind thing, especially. It's I hate to break it to you, Drew, but unless, and this goes for...
the only thing with wind that I think would stop a round is if the wind is causing trees to be unsafe.
That's what I'm saying. Unless it's we're talking gale force, hurricane type winds, they're never going to, 40 mile wind, they're never going to cancel an event for that because everybody's going to play in it.
You're
I don't
playing
know.
an outdoor sport.
Like I said, it's tough because there's a lot of players that had success out there on that course in bad conditions and fought through it, and that's just part of the game.
Yeah.
And once again, it was a frustrated tweet. I probably would have tweeted something like that too if I were in
absolutely.
issues. Like you're out there playing like crap. You're like, what are we doing out there in these conditions? You watch your buddy get injured. You're like, I would do the exact same thing. So nobody needs to attack Drew for that. But he brings up an interesting point of discussion. But like I said, had he been at so and so under par, he wouldn't tweet it.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. That's this week's Grip Locked. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you're anywhere near the Charleston area, we hope to see you down there this week.
Yeah. The address to our place we're staying.
And other than that, we'll talk to you all next week. See you then.